Clouds break for some sun tomorrow. A warm day, high 85. Friday, some sun, then increasing clouds, breezy, very warm and rather humid in the afternoon with a chance of a thunderstorm. Friday's high 87. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's cloudy and currently 72 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Brought to you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. Life happens. Accidents, deaths. Make your estate plan now, or the courts will decide for you later. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors, The Chris and Amy Show.
Check it out. St. Louis, Mound City, we are going to have a great day today.
On 104.1 FM.
Let's take it from the top.
KMOX.
Chris and Amy Show. Yes, it is, baby. It is a Wednesday. It's a short day for this show. You know why? Because we've got daytime baseball this afternoon. The Cardinals will get going at 12:15, so we take you until 11:20 for the first pitch. 314-436-7900, rather for the pregame show, which then takes us to the first pitch. That pregame at 11:20. We want to hear from you while we are here. 314-436-7900, voice messages from the Odyssey app, and you can watch the show and comment. And your comments, we will see them. Maybe we will comment on your comment. You can watch us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter at Chris Amy KMOX.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
Well, you know what today is. Today is the day you go to jail. Unless you did your taxes.
I don't think they put you in jail today.
Well,
they let it fester a bit.
Yes.
So that you can't sleep at night because you're wondering, is that the IRS coming?
This is the day the process begins of you going to jail if you do your tax evasion. It is tax day. Did you let artificial intelligence do it?
Okay.
Probably a bad idea. We will talk about that today. Stuart Thompson from the New York Times, a piece on AI and taxes. It's not good.
And county council chaos continues. I did that alliteration just for you.
Pretty corny. Actually, it wasn't.
You
not
love
bad.
alliteration.
Yeah, it's not
the
bad.
St. Louis County Council, always something going on with that. And right now, St. Louis County Executive Sam Page is suing over St. Louis County power transfer. Like, he's going to be traveling overseas for a week, which would mean that he would be stripped of his county executive powers momentarily, and he doesn't want that to happen.
Cardinals win in extra innings last night. They will play today, as I mentioned, and possibly Jordan Bennington's last game at home as a Blue occurred last night.
I'm glad it was an 8:50 puck drop.
How ridiculous, man.
Woof. Hey,
they did do a cool thing, though, with the ALS broadcast. I believe it was the first team that ever did that.
ASL, I should say. Sign language.
I'm sorry, ASL. Yeah. American Sign Language. This is the first time that anybody's ever done that. I didn't see any of it, but that's a really cool thing to do.
Yeah, they did an interview with Jake Neighbors. He has been an ambassador for ASL and in fact designed a Blues hat with some ASL letters on it. And so
it's
very
cool.
Very, very cool. Hey, let's just get it over with and jump into the story of the disaffected county executive Sam Page.
Last night, the council did correct an error and provide an additional $700,000 for the revenue department. Several of the workers from that department spoke before the council.
I hear your concerns, and I know you're anxious. You're worried about furloughs, and you're concerned about your jobs. I know you've heard dismissive comments from the council, including last week's remarks from a council. You should just tattle on one another if you feel one of your colleagues is not doing enough.
Chairwoman Rita Hurd Days does not agree with the county executive.
I were the county executive, I would be ashamed to sit here and look at you and know that the fear-mongering of furloughs, losing your jobs, is what's being talked about tonight.
The next council budget hearing will be 1 week from today. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
So if you're wondering, okay, what in the world is going on? That's a great question. So the St. Louis County Executive Sam Page is going to travel to London from April 19th to April 24th. So about a week, just under a week, for an international trade mission, okay? However, there is ongoing budget disagreements that we've been talking about over the past year within the county council, which isn't really relevant right now. But okay, all we know is he's going to London for this trade mission, April 19th to the 24th. Well, here's the thing. The St. Louis County Ordinance 104.177.
I'm very familiar with it.
Who is not, right? Says, quote, if the county executive travels outside the continental United States for any reason, the chair of the council shall serve as the acting county executive until the county executive returns. End quote of Ordinance 104.177. Now, this might remind you of when the president of the United States, for instance, not this president, but any president, gets surgery and the vice president is technically president for a few hours while the president's under. That happened with George W. Bush. It's happened with a lot of presidents. Doesn't feel like a big deal. However, Sam Page is challenging this ordinance, and he says, well, no, it's not the chair, which would be Rita Hurd Days. That chair doesn't get to take over for any reason, which is exactly what the ordinance says. But he says that's only if the executive is temporarily disabled or absent from the country in a way that prevents them from performing duties. So for whatever reason, he really doesn't want Rita Hurd Days to be the county executive for a week.
Know.
Why? Why does he? So, what does he think? Rita
How much
Hurd
can
Days,
you screw up in less than a week?
Right? 6 days? What does he think Rita Hurd Days is going to do?
I don't know. Just hire a babysitter. That's what parents do. When they go out of town, they get a babysitter, don't they? Why don't you do that? Or
that's
maybe
that's what the chair is.
Maybe
the chair is the babysitter.
No, he thinks that somebody needs to babysit the chair for some reason. And what I think he should do, you ever seen the movie Dave?
I love the movie Dave.
With St. Louis's very own Kevin Kline. I think Sam Page should find a Sam Page lookalike, and we will never know the difference. And then he would say, by the way, trip's canceled. I'm not actually going to the UK. I'm staying right here in St. Louis. Let the lookalike serve for him for that 5, 6, 7 days, the 19th through the 24th. Let him serve, and then it will come back, and none of us will be any wiser for it. Don't you think that's a better idea? Doesn't that actually make more sense than filing a lawsuit to make sure that she can't preside for a few days?
6 days?
Why do you care?
Do you know what
I would love to hear an explanation why he cares so much. Does he really hate her that much?
Obviously. I mean, here's the thing. Sam Page has somehow alienated himself from everyone. I don't know of anyone who loves Sam Page.
Wasn't there one person that was still kind of a holdout?
Lisa Clancy, maybe?
Maybe, I don't remember.
But, I mean, even the Democrats, right? It's not just, it's the Republicans. It's Republicans and Democrats, which is why John Hancock has said Sam Page must be a good politician because usually you have to make friends to succeed in politics, and all he does is make people who really don't like him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, he is afraid. He is afraid that this is going to be just terribly dangerous for the country, for the county, and perhaps the world.
Maybe.
For the county.
The universe.
If Rita Hurd Days, the universe. This is going to be terrible for the universe if Rita Hurd Days is in charge as the county executive for 5 or 6 days while he's in London. So much so that he's wasting time and money suing the county.
Maybe he thinks... Do you think he thinks that she's going to tear down one of the wings of the county council building and build a ballroom while he's gone?
Which would actually be kind of amazing. That ballroom, I would.
She's going to paint over all of his parking spaces or his parking spaces.
Hang giant pictures of her face.
Yes.
All over the government
building. Or replace
building.
his photos with unflattering photos. Like our president does. We could do.
But
I think it's a great idea.
At any rate, the level of it just feels so petty and high school mean girls. It feels like this is the type of thing where if Ranj were to go on vacation for 6 days, and technically, while he's gone, I would kind of be the main voice of the show. We'd have fill-ins, but I would be, the driver of the show. And he would say, absolutely not. I am suing KMOX to make sure that whoever fills in for me is in charge of the show, not Amy, for 6 days. I don't want Amy bringing in the show and in charge of the show for 6 days. I will sue maybe so that you're still in charge of the show even while you're on vacation.
I don't think that's unreasonable.
Because heaven forbid. So I don't know what Sam Page thinks Rid of Her Days is going to do.
There has to be.
I do hope it is that she knocks down a building and builds a ballroom.
There has to be a logical explanation for all of this. There has to be. Otherwise, we are all continuing to live in some sort of upside down. I don't know what this
ultimately,
is.
I think it has to do with the budget. I think they're going to say, "Oh, good, he's gone. Let's pass these budget rules
in 5 days."
I think so. I mean, that's how much they're all united against him, that I think they could get stuff done if he were, what they say, when the cat's away, the mice will play.
Yeah.
Maybe the county council, Page, knows that the currents of support run against him. And so he knows, if I leave the country, those darn kids, they're gonna pass some budget measures that I disagree with.
Tell you what, I think while he's gone, they should go ahead and move the county building.
They should.
And he comes back and it's like, where is everybody?
You know what? Maybe that should have been our question of the week. What should Rid of Her Days do while Sam Page is gone?
Go ahead and move to the old Macy's or whatever it is they were trying to do a few months ago.
Also, don't you find it, if it is so dangerous for him to be gone for 6 days, well, maybe don't go on the trip instead of filing a lawsuit.
I'm not going to skip a trip to London. You nuts?
Governor?
I have a chance to go to Great Britain. I'm going to go to Great Britain.
Well, St. Louis County Council Budget Coordinator Chris Gran Howard, he released a statement on behalf of Rid of Her Days, arguing, well, maybe Page shouldn't go on the trip to London if it's such a big deal.
I think this is awesome.
Because there's too many crucial items going on.
I love this. This is fun. Don't you think this is fun?
It's fun in the sense that it's kind of gallows humor. And if you separate yourself from the fact that, unfortunately, local government has a huge impact on our daily lives in a lot of ways, that's depressing. But I would say, yes, I've called this the real council members of St. Louis County. It's very Andy Cohen, Bravo Network. Is that the name of it? Bravo? Yeah.
It's Bravo.
Yeah. It's very much drama, only it's lame. It's not sexy. It's just lame, except for that one time where the guy did have sexy time at the county building with his name tag on, which was visible in all the videos.
Yes, I remember that.
That was sexy.
He was an assistant to Congressman Bell, right? But when he was not congressman.
That's a great question. I think so. I can't remember now. But also, like, okay, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but if you're going to have sexy time, I feel like a lanyard is the least sexy thing you can wear.
No, yeah, you don't want to take that off.
Or a name tag.
Maybe
no, least sexy. You do want to take it off.
Well, maybe there was a kink.
What if it's just the lanyard?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think that's it's not the worst kink in the world.
It's not.
Was that wrong?
No, you're not supposed to have sex in your office. Yeah, you're definitely not.
And you video it and you keep your name tag
This
on.
would be, honestly, though, if the county council was on TV, it would be the most boring Bravo show of all time. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX 314-436-7900. You know what today is, baby? It is time to do your patriotic duty. Today is the deadline to do it. We'll tell you what that is next on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, I think this is going to be a strange season for real estate. Just kind of feel it in my gut. What can people do apropos of their mortgage to put themselves in a better position to get that house?
You know what, Dave, that's a great question. There's a bidding wars that are going to happen this spring. You want to get the house. This is how you're going to make things better. Number one, we give you the power of the pre-approval letter. That means you can go into our portal and generate the letter and edit it for any amount you want up to the amount you're approved without chasing the loan officer. Number two, the bagel loan, no closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, no appraisal fees. It's a bagel. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. Add that money you would normally pay onto your bid and beat the other offers out. And you know what? The third thing is we can close fast, 10 days. They're going to look away at the other offers because most lenders take as much as 30 days to get done.
You can call or text Stewie at his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or you can Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS 226715.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Lockridge, and I'm the host of a new podcast from Odyssey called Family Lore. In this podcast, I'm going to have people on to tell unusual and sometimes far-fetched stories about their families.
I've heard my whole life that she invented the margarita.
And then we're going to investigate those stories and find out how much of it is true.
He gets a patent 1 month before the Wright brothers. Oh my God.
Please follow and listen to Family Lore, an Odyssey podcast available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's your captain speaking. To the passenger with the Mirror Fast soft chews, smart move.
No way am I letting travel constipation ruin this trip.
Can't blame you. Mirror Fast works fast, but without the harsh side effects.
Since I'm such a smart traveler, can I move to first class?
No. Close the curtain, girl.
From the makers of Miralax, new Mirafast soft chews work naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes to give you a comfortable go on the go. Find Mirafast today at your local retailer. Use as directed for occasional constipation. Contains magnesium hydroxide.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
A century strong. The voice of St. Louis. KMOX.
It is the day, baby. My favorite day of the year. You know, we talk about the Christmas season. We talk about how cool Halloween is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
4th of July, St. Patrick's Day, Mardi Gras. Man, do I love Mardi Gras. And we really have a great Mardi Gras celebration here in St. Louis. We like to tell ourselves it's the second best Mardi Gras in all of the land. I think that may not be true, but we like to say it. And if we say it, then it has to be true in our minds. But there is one day that beats them all. Amy Marks Kors.
Oh.
It's tax day.
Is it though?
Tax day is the day that you get to exercise your greatest patriotic act of the entire year.
When you're voluntold.
When you are voluntold to give your money to the government. And I got to tell you, I think, honestly, taxes are, we live in a society here.
Aha. Aha. That's from Robin Hood. Never mind.
Okay. What?
We'll find it.
Robin Hood?
Yeah, Prince John, he goes, taxes, beautiful, lovely taxes. Aha. Aha. Just keep talking.
Good Lord, what are you talking about? It wasn't a Kevin Costner Robin Hood. I know that.
It was not.
So this is look, I don't mind it. I don't mind paying them. I hate the process of getting it done. I hate that it is so complicated. And yeah, you can use TurboTax. Yes, you can go to a tax person, do the business for you, but it should just be an easier thing to have done. I am happy to report, though, for what feels like the first time in 50 years, I'm getting a refund. I am getting a refund. Would you like to know the size of my refund?
Are we allowed to talk about that on the radio?
All right.
Yeah.
Let me
How
show you
big
my
is it,
refund.
Ranj?
Take a guess of how big my refund is.
Okay, I'm going to guess, because you're saying it on the radio,
Uh-huh.
$17.42.
Nope. $3. I'm getting $3 back.
Congratulations.
Read that and weep, you losers.
That is amazing.
You guys can you do better than that?
Matt?
I did a lot better, and
you did better than $3?
I don't even want to talk about how much better it was.
Matt got a $100,000 refund.
It was a nice day. It was a nice day.
Good for you, buddy. Well, listen.
Did your refund come with a note that said, "Here, buddy, you need this more than we do"?
Yeah, pretty much. Said we're sorry.
My guy who did my taxes says, "What is your bank information?" I'm like, "Do I even bother?" Well, I'll tell you what. With that $3, you know what I'm going to do?
What?
I'm going to buy 75% of a gallon of gas because that's what I can afford right now.
So I will say this.
Actually, it's maybe like 63%.
So I too got a refund, and I'm not going to say how much it was, but I will tell you this. Guess how I spent my refund? I paid my tax lady because my refund was less than it cost me to do my taxes.
It's almost unfair, isn't it?
I know. I still owe money to my tax lady because, I don't still owe her. I paid it, but my refund went directly to the service.
Right. Yeah. So it just.
All right. I have what I was referring to. This is Prince John in the animated Robin Hood.
Beautiful, lovely taxes.
See?
It is a talking lion, by the way, saying that.
It's a talking lion?
Yeah.
because
of course it is.
Animated.
Is that Disney?
Yeah, it's animated. The
Robin Hood?
1960-something Robin Hood with
Okay.
Prince John is the classic, but he's going through his coins. That's what you're hearing of the taxes.
Ah.
And he takes taxes from the poorest people.
No idea. I had no idea what you were talking about. I do know what Robin Hood is.
Yeah.
I know what he did.
Well, this explains a lot if you didn't grow up with Robin Hood.
I love the Kevin Costner version. So the
Is that
final
Men in
results. No, that is the comedy.
Oh.
That is the Carrie Elways version.
Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Our results of our question of the week, and this was really question of the half week because April 15th was today.
Mhm.
Have you done your taxes yet? And we like to report that 73% of you had done your taxes well in advance. So congratulations to you. Only 16.7% of you said you're waiting until the last minute, which is now. That is today. You have to have them postmarked by today if you're mailing them off. And an alarming 10% of you said you were planning to commit tax fraud.
10%.
10%.
You know what? I knew we had a sketchy group of listeners.
Mm.
I don't know that I expected 10% of our listeners to commit tax fraud.
Well, if the IRS is listening, you know where to find them. It's everybody who listens to this show. So congratulations, everybody. Get your taxes in. And when we come back, expecting an interesting conversation with Stuart Thompson from the New York Times, who filed a report on artificial intelligence and how people out there are using it to do their taxes. And the recommendation for that is absolutely do not do that. It is a very bad idea. We'll talk to Stuart Thompson when we come back on KMOX. And NBA fans, this is something for you. FanDuel's Play-In Palooza. Why is it called that? Well, the play-in part of the playoffs is happening now. And for a chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets every day during the play-in tournament, you're going to want to hook up with FanDuel. All you have to do is place a live bet using your Play-In Palooza token, and then you're going to automatically be entered for a chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Don't just watch the NBA play-in tournament from the sidelines. Get involved. FanDuel.com/Missouri and enter FanDuel's Play-in Palooza for your chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Play your game with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. To limit one entry. Profit Boost bonus issued as non-withdrawable Profit Boost token. Prizes issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey guys, it's Dave from The Glover Show, trying to explain The Glover Show. So when I was a younger man, I used to go to happy hour almost every night, and I loved it. And I've always thought of my show as being like happy hour. It's always interesting. It's often silly, but not always. You know, there are real things to talk about amongst friends, politics, and personal things. So that's what it is, really. It's happy hour for thousands of us every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. And I hope you'll tune in and join the happy hour.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
73 degrees right now. The high today of 78, cloudy, breezy, not as warm as yesterday. There could be some thunderstorms today and this evening, which could lead to heavy downpours, hail, and damaging wind gusts. So be on the lookout for that. The low tonight, 65. Weather sponsored by the Missouri History Museum's Route 66 Centennial Festival, April 30th through May 3rd. Don't miss the Route 66 Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Music from Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, neon display, kids crafts, and more. Schedule at mohistory.org/festival.
I love a day on the water with friends, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis sometimes holds me back. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
Teaching music is my passion, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm treating my joint symptoms with Skyrizi.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Or if you are an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Presented by Worldwide Technology, the BizDash 5K is back. Produced by the St. Louis Sports Commission, a high-energy corporate race in St. Louis's healthiest happy hour. Thursday, May 7th at Energizer Park. Register your team at stlbizdash.com.
Today,
the Cards, the Guardians.
Ameren Total Access 1120.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let me tell you how it will be.
It's Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji on 104.1 FM KMOX. Cardinals pregame coverage starts at 11:20 this morning, and then a 12:15 first pitch. It's the rubber match against Cleveland. We welcome in from the New York Times today, Stuart Thompson. As it is April 15th, it means it is the day you need to get your taxes in if you have not done so already. And maybe I'm one of these people who isn't utilizing artificial intelligence the way I should, but it seems like there are people out there who are using it for everything, including filing taxes and doing your returns. And there is a thought out there that that's a bad idea. To talk about that with us, Stuart is joining us on KMOX. Good to have you with us today, Stuart. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
We're doing great. So first of all, how many people approximately, is there any way to measure how many people are actually using artificial intelligence to get their taxes done?
Yeah, there has been a few surveys. Probably about 1 in 4, 1 in 5 people are turning to AI in some way to help them. That's going to be a mix of things. People using it as their only source of filing taxes, essentially asking it to, just file my taxes, let me know what you need. And then other people are using it just to elaborate on forms or help them identify tax breaks and things like that.
Hey, Stuart, we're going to do something real quick here. We're having a connection issue with the line. We're going to put you on hold, try to reestablish. We'll call him back and see if we can get something a little bit better. There was a short or something in that line.
Yeah. Just to kind of set the table here, and I love Stuart's piece in the New York Times, because as he points out, when you look at how AI is being used, the world's militaries use AI to operate sophisticated drones. As it also points out, AI has replaced thousands of coders at the most advanced technology companies. It even notes that AI has been used to, in some ways, revolutionize how cancer patients are being treated.
Yeah.
So perhaps, why would it not be able to do your taxes? And as Stuart notes in his story, whatever you use it for, don't use it to file your taxes. And Stuart, you guys did some research, now that we have you back here, that the New York Times tested 4 AI chatbots: Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, and Grok. What did the New York Times do? How did they test those chatbots, and what did they find?
Yeah, so we used a bunch of tax preparation materials, so like training materials basically, and it was handy because it actually showed you what the correct return would be. So we fed in all the information from these fictional tax scenarios into the chatbots and said, here you go, here's everything that you need, here's all their filings, all organized, and file the taxes. And it would come up with a bunch of forms and formulas, and then eventually the final return. And that tended to be off by huge amounts, thousands of dollars in some cases. Then we went through and tried to what they call prompt engineering. So you write really long descriptive prompts for what you want it to do. We uploaded documents, the forms that they would need. We advised it on changes that happened since last year, sort of late-breaking tax changes that might impact the final calculation, and then asked it again to do it. And it did do better in that case, but that prompt was hundreds and hundreds of words long, and it doesn't seem like it would save you much time versus doing it in an old-fashioned way.
So what I'm wondering is, and I don't know if you did this or not, did you or did the Times, as part of this research, feed in the information multiple times to see if you get different results? Because I know some of the results I will get from AI, the same result does not always bounce back to me. Sometimes it's a little off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we did do that, and you're exactly right. And you're identifying one of the issues with using a chatbot this way. It's not running, formulas the way that you and I might. It's not looking at the forms and reading them and thinking about it. It's making a determination based on the information it has, almost like a prediction of what it thinks it want. And that's not really the right way to, use the tools, and not the right way to do your taxes. There was some, it is a helpful tool for a lot of other purposes around taxes. If you did want to figure out what a form means, or some, strange language that the IRS uses, it was really helpful there. And there's also a bunch of other companies that are what they call tooling up the AI. So they're taking the chatbots, the AI technology, and then adding on layers of basically verification to check the results. And that's how, these AI tools are really good at things like code these days. And that's because they can verify that the code is working or not. And then if there's an error, they can go back. But if you're just going directly to a chatbot, that's going to be like the rawest form of AI. And it's not really suited to the very rigid forms that the IRS uses.
You spoke with someone from the Stanford Institute for Human-Centered AI who I thought gave an explanation that really helped clarify in my layman's mind why TurboTax would work, right? That's a software, but AI would be way more inefficient. And they point out that TurboTax, it follows an if-then logic, which is built for mathematical precision, whereas large language models are prediction engines. Like they predict what you would want to say or what the answer you would want or it would be. So it's not following the very strict parameters of a mathematical algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the core challenge of these models. And it applies to how the models are going to be used in the rest of society, too. So tax is kind of like a nice little microcosm of this issue. But yeah, they're not using, they sort of talk, they give you a response that sounds like it's really thought through and logical and say it very confidently. But behind the scenes, it's more just predicting, it's sort of like autocomplete. Advanced autocomplete is one of the metaphors people use. It's way more complicated than that, but essentially it's trying to anticipate the next logical, word or number by, analyzing all the stuff that's come before it. And that's very different than how TurboTax works. TurboTax is like, do you qualify for this, yes or no? And it'll push you onto another form. But per the comment earlier, every time you do that in a chatbot, it's going to maybe take a different route, depending on its conclusion in the moment.
Stuart Thompson with the New York Times is joining us on KMOX, and clearly artificial intelligence is going to continue to become more and more pervasive in our lives. I don't think we're ever going to be rid of it. Is it possible that it does get to a point, though, where the results aren't so confused, where the AI is capable of filtering out the bad information that it finds online, because that's where it's getting all of its information, and able to give you just the reliable stuff?
I think what we're seeing over the past few years, and people have this first blush impression of AI from a couple of years ago, where it, what they call hallucinates. So it's going to invent facts and make mistakes, kind of wild mistakes, unpredictable mistakes. It's gotten a lot better since then. It still does that. It's just in the nature of how the technology works, but it is better. And the reason for that is adding in layers of tooling on top. So, modern chatbots, they'll search the internet, they'll provide sources for what they're telling you, and you can go and verify it yourself, and you certainly should verify it yourself. And that's kind of the next wave of AI that we're going to be seeing. There's the foundational models, the chatbots, that are kind of like the raw input and output. But then on top of that, there's going to be layers and layers of tools and additional information and specialized training that's going to make them better. So I would anticipate, maybe we'll have this conversation next year, it'll be much better. But right now, I would caution people to not, just dump your tax filings into AI.
And as you note in your story, that these chatbots, these AI mechanisms aren't necessarily great at details. They may have most of it right or a lot of it right, but one little detail could be wrong, which is really bad when it comes to taxes, because in your research with these chatbots, the amount owed was off by an average of more than $2,000. The chatbots miscalculated on average more than $2,000, even when those bots were provided with the necessary materials and forms that they needed to fill out.
Yeah, it was a pretty wild swing, and that's the note of caution for people trying to use it. You might get a refund of a couple $1,000s, but that could be entirely wrong. And what I saw in the test was some of the conclusions it would make based on some IRS form that I had uploaded. So I figured it could read that and kind of understand the steps. It is, a lot of these things are like worksheets, right? It's sort of like math. It's just one step after another and you fill out each thing, but it would make a mistake somewhere along the line. And that's one of the curiosities about AI, is that it's so advanced and so capable at some things, but is really, really weak in other areas. And one of the areas it's weak in is sort of keeping track of the constellation of information in a big request like taxes. So as you add in more forms, more layers, more questions, it's going to start getting a bit lost in all the information that it has. And that's where it's more likely for errors to creep in. And like you said, just one error in one form can really throw off the calculations. And suddenly it's a big problem.
And I also have a question, and this might be me not understanding all of the AI models and generative AI and so forth, because we know that AI is pulling from the internet. And as you mentioned in your story, in full transparency, the New York Times has sued OpenAI and its partner Microsoft for copyright infringement on news content related to AI systems. And so we know that AI is pulling from the internet. But we also know the internet is full of stupid people and things that aren't true. So how is you could make an argument that the internet is getting dumber as we continue to fill it with opinions and conspiracy theories and so forth. So how would AI not get dumber?
It's a great question. We're still, I guess, assessing how dumb AI is. There's a sense a little of like the majority of the information that it's sourcing is a little more legitimate than just posts on social media. But we've been tracking Grok is this AI chatbot. It's created by Elon Musk and it's popular on X. And it will respond to questions and breaking news moments with wrong information based on other people's tweets because it's pulling in all the information from X in real time. So that's a small distillation of that issue. But yeah, pulling in information, unreliable information can certainly sway the model's responses.
With the midterms still several months away, and as we shift here for just a moment, we know that I'm curious to see how artificial intelligence is going to end up affecting this upcoming election, because it was still sort of in its infancy as far as we knew prior to the 2024 election. But what will the impact on it be this time around?
Yeah, we're tracking that right now. There's a lot of AI content circulating around pretty much every issue these days. There's a big kind of like meme culture around politics that's emerged that's a little strange. It's a lot of kind of jokey posts, but they serve a kind of political purpose. They usually bring to life a political point. Sometimes the political point's a little offensive or edgy, and they're able to use the AI tools to bring that to life. And President Trump himself posts a lot of AI-generated memes as well. So we're likely to see a lot of AI-generated content. The other issue is as the AI content gets so realistic, it's harder and harder to tell what's real or not. So people start dismissing something that's real as being AI-made. So you can start to see that in pretty much every scandal or political issue where there's content, along with other breaking news issues, war, attacks, anything. There's a debate always now about whether it's real or not online. And sometimes we spend a lot of time and effort trying to verify content and photos and video. Sometimes we reach the end of that process and we're not really sure, despite having all the tools and technology available to try to assess it, plus expertise. The tools, like the technology, is just too good now. So it's a big threat for the midterms for sure.
Stuart Thompson, reporter for the New York Times. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Really, really interesting stuff. So thank you.
A pleasure. Thanks.
Again, that is Stuart Thompson. You can read his work on the New York Times. And again, that piece, a word to the wise: don't trust AI to file your taxes. Ranj, the 1 in 4 number or 1 in 5 number of people who did use it to
kind of high
help with their taxes feels a little high. So hopefully that's not you.
It's a little higher than I would like.
That's Chris Ranji. I'm Amy Mark Scores. Did you see this? Is next.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Each year in St. Louis, 10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KingdomOX.com/events.
It's deck days at Lowe's, and the savings are stacked. Right now, pros get 15% off all in-stock composite decking from top brands like Trex, TimberTech, and Decorators. Plus, get a free DeWalt
If you were a British man living in the late 18th century.
Tell me more.
From 1784 to 1811, the British government levied a tax on men's hats. The more hats you owned, the more taxes you paid. Can you imagine how much you would owe in taxes with all of your hats?
Can I sell them to pay for the taxes?
I think they're going to charge you on the profit you made.
All right. It seems a little unfair, but you know what? I get it.
Well,
I get it. And
they
I'll do
stopped
what
in 1811.
Oh, all right.
Why do you get it?
I get it because I mean, all these people
It's
with
a
all these
sign of
hats
wealth.
out here. Yeah,
It's kind of an obnoxious sign of wealth.
Do you know what it's kind of like? The in New Orleans in the French Quarter, every French Quarter building that has like a second-story balcony, they used to tax you for every post that you would put on the sidewalk to hold up the balcony. So it was a sign of wealth if you had a bunch of posts outside of your house.
Can you imagine your house would have posts and you'd have all your hats?
I put my, yes, I will proudly display all of my hats.
Yeah.
Just so people know how rich I am. Amy, I knew you would like it when I saw it, and I'm happy to report to you that there is a new movie coming out on Netflix that I'm sure you're going to want to watch. Little House on the Prairie is coming back.
Okay.
It is a new version of Little House on the Prairie, and it is happening on Netflix.
Sounds horrible. That was the one show I never watched.
I'm sorry, it's going to be a TV series, and it's happening in July. I
There was
apologize.
something so sad about it, and the little girl running down the hill, and then she falls down the hill in the opening every time. I don't know why.
Did she die?
No. But Little House on the Prairie was so sad. Although I saw, oh my goodness, who is the main girl? I know her real name. Who's the main girl?
Laura something?
Laura, I guess.
Ingalls?
No, that's the I guess it's Laura Ingalls. But there was the mean girl Nellie. And Nellie,
You know, you might as well be speaking in Latin.
listen
I have
to
no
this.
idea what you're talking about.
I didn't realize Little House on the Prairie got so brutal and vicious, but Nellie was scamming Laura. Nellie pretended to basically be a paraplegic while she was injured, that her arm was hurt and her legs were hurt and she couldn't walk. So she was in a wheelchair, and she made Laura do all of her homework
Yes.
while she was in the wheelchair. And so
This happened on the Little
yes,
House.
no, but it gets worse. And Laura felt terrible and lived in guilt for the whole show, and then sees Nellie dancing around with her dolls and realizes Nellie
hell?
is lying. She's scamming me that she's like paralyzed right now, or at least, has broken legs and arms. So she goes, Nellie, you want to go on a walk? Nellie's like, no, I don't need to. And she's like, no, I'll push you on a walk. So she's pushing her in the wheelchair and brings her to the edge of a cliff, like this really steep hill. And they see their mom at the bottom of the hill.
What is going on here?
And Nellie waves, hi, Mom. And then Laura goes, go see your mom, and pushes her, shoves the wheelchair down the cliff, down the hill.
So you're telling me you're not going to watch this show?
Yeah, I'm not going to watch it. And Nellie goes down the hill in the wheelchair
What
this is
in the
off
hell?
a cliff. Laura literally pushed Nellie off a cliff in a wheelchair.
This doesn't feel... there's no way any of this is true.
It's true. Everybody who is old will text in and say, yes, Amy, that a lot of people were really glad she did that to Nellie because Nellie was so mean.
What is this show?
Right?
This is not at all what I thought it was going to be. I'm pretty sure that I've seen episodes of it when I was a kid, but I don't really remember it at all.
Yeah. And there's another episode.
Okay.
Well,
Wait.
it's we don't have time for all those episodes.
Episode. I was just I didn't want to say it out loud, but someone tried to get sexy with Mrs.
Okay.
Ingalls. And so Michael Landon had to fight him.
Oh. Hey, did you see one of the nerdiest things that I think you could possibly do? And if you had about 6 hours last night, you could have watched it on YouTube. There were about 8 different Titanic experts because, as you may know, from April 14th into the 15th is when the Titanic hit the iceberg, and then it took a couple of hours to sink. There was a live stream last night of the animation of the Titanic in real time as it hit the iceberg and sank. It went on for 6 hours, and it was just people talking about it.
Oh.
It was the nerdiest thing ever, and I am sad to say that I did watch some of it. What a loser. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX. Second hour of the show is coming up, and we're going to talk to Diego Sorbara, who is the assistant managing editor at ProPublica. They have a new code of ethics that they have updated, and it's about Polymarket and prediction markets and whether or not reporters can participate. And it's an interesting topic. We'll talk about that next with him when we come back on KMOX.
2026, I've been hearing from customers and friends that their utility bills went up quite a bit for their electric bill. That being said, and you're looking at buying a new air conditioner, or you're thinking, hey, I guess let's just get an air conditioner so it helps with the electric bills. If you have an old system, it definitely can help you. But watch your thinking. Just because you are told this is a so-called high-efficient air conditioner, it's not going to save you nowhere near what you think it's going to save you. Just replacing your old equipment is the biggest thing, and make your house efficient. An air conditioner is not going to make your house efficient. That being said, it's a great time to purchase an air conditioner if you get the correct one. Don't overspend. Don't believe the hype. In other words, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Call me, Bart Inman, at 314, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, the easiest of numbers, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. God bless.
If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Let's talk about Air Medical memberships. In an emergency, you don't choose who transports you. Dispatch sends the closest, most appropriate aircraft. Here's what matters: speed, skill, advanced care. Like critical care crews trained for the toughest moments. Like onboard blood that can make the difference between life and death. Arch Air Medical Service delivers life-saving air medical care across Effingham and surrounding communities. When you call for help, we bring hospital-level care to you. Plus, we're part of Air Methods, the nation's largest air medical provider. And about the cost, the No Surprises Act protects patients with private health insurance from unexpected out-of-network air ambulance bills. You're only responsible for your in-network copay, coinsurance, or deductible. Medicare and Medicaid patients have similar protections. No surprise bills, no balance billing, no membership required. Because when it's your life on the line, what matters isn't membership, it's medicine. Learn more at airmethods.com. Copays, coinsurance, and deductibles are set by insurance providers, not Air Methods. Terms and costs may vary. Contact your insurer for details.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is 10 o'clock. We've got cloudy skies, 72 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. A Pakistani military chief arrives in Tehran as a mediator seek to set up a second round of U.S.-Iran talks. Former Trump National Security Advisor and former UN Ambassador John Bolton.
To this day, I can't say that I fully understand what his objective is. I come from the perspective of wishing that we could see regime change in Iran, because after 47 years of trying to change this ideology's behavior, we've seen that it's not going to change their behavior.
The lawsuit against the Mo Scholars program has been rejected by a Cole County judge. The Missouri NEA sued over the program that was set up to accept donations for private school scholarships, but later Governor Kehoe funneled $50 million in taxpayer funds into it. Judge Brian Stumpy said families and students would be on the hook and put in an impossible situation if the program were interrupted in the middle of a school year. He also said the teachers union couldn't prove the diversion of state funds would harm the integrity of public schools. Advocates for labor and public transportation are calling on Illinois lawmakers to slam the brakes on a proposal that would set up a 3-year test program for driverless cars in Chicago and 2 other parts of the state. Teamsters Joint Council 25 President Tom Steedy told reporters in Springfield the push to allow Waymo and other autonomous vehicles would take away good-paying jobs and could lead to more traffic and safety issues.
Google, Amazon, Tesla, and other big tech companies are trying to force driverless cars and trucks into our communities. They are steamrolling into cities throughout our country without concern for the workers or residents who live there.
The sponsor of the proposal says it's designed to make sure Illinois is prepared for future technology. Waymo is mapping streets in Chicago now, but has not announced plans to begin service.
Honestly, this is quite the unique, grotesque act.
We have not seen something like this before.
The Department of Conservation in Missouri launching an investigation after officials say mutilated paddlefish were found in the Lake of the Ozarks. In a post on social media, the paddlefish appear to have vulgar words carved into their sides. Joe Jarrick with the state agency called it grotesque. He says a local guide found the fish, which were still alive, and reported it to the State Department, the agency asking anyone with information to report it to their game thief hotline. From the KMOX business desk, a new report finds baby boomers dominating the housing market. The National Association of Realtors says 42% of home buyers are boomers. NAR Deputy Chief Economist Jessica Lutz says millennials are the biggest generation, but baby boomers hold the wealth in the housing market. 14% of buyers are purchasing multi-generational homes.
There's a lot of reasons to do so. Cost savings at the top of the line, certainly, but also elder care and childcare really being solved in this, and Gen Xers squeezed in the middle with these multi-generational home buyers.
Meanwhile, Gen Zers in their 20s can't afford homes. Many are still living with their parents trying to save up.
Mostly cloudy and breezy this afternoon. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm, high 79. Any thunderstorm late this afternoon and early tonight can be severe with damaging winds, hail, and flooding downpours. Lingering cloud late tonight, though 65. Clouds break for some sun tomorrow, a warm day, high 85. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is cloudy with rain on the way in downtown St. Louis, 72 degrees. The weather sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Well, we've talked a lot about prediction markets like Polymarket and Kalshi and how suspect some of the betting seems to be. Specifically, the New York Times did a story on the bets that were placed, or I guess you could say, the trades that were made before the U.S. Attacked Iran, and how those spiked. And my goodness, that could be insider trading. And really with prediction markets, Ranj, unlike sports gambling, you can bet on anything that's in the news, from Taylor Swift to the war in Iran. So that you could have a lot of conflict of interest. You could have quote unquote insider trading. What to do about that? Well, it does raise a big question for journalists who are covering news stories. Would they not be insiders in some way? Well, I saw yesterday that ProPublica has updated their code of ethics to address this very issue, saying, quote, no employee should wager on the outcome of news events on the prediction markets, regardless of whether or not they are involved in the coverage of said event. And joining us now is the assistant managing editor at ProPublica who authored the update to their code of ethics, Diego Sorbara. Diego, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, happy to be here with you all.
What a weird world. Like I mentioned, we talked weeks ago about that this spike in bets that were made that the U.S. would invade or attack Iran, within the next 24 hours. And you think, wouldn't only government officials know this? And it just really did start a lot of questions about anybody who was involved in any industry could technically place bets. I know they don't call them bets on prediction markets, but trade on Polymarket and Kalshi. So what did ProPublica do to try to get ahead of this?
Well, we saw early on, especially with the fact that there are some news outlets or parent companies of news outlets that have created partnerships with these companies like CNN and Kalshi or Dow Jones and Polymarket. And this seemed a little concerning for us. So we got to thinking, we actually need to address this in some way. This is a brave new world that has seemingly come up out of nowhere. And it seemed like as journalists, we needed to meet this particular moment and put in some guardrails So we updated our code of ethics specifically to address this kind of issue and kind of also differentiate it from, some legal forms of gambling. So that's how we got to this code of ethics that we technically updated yesterday, I believe.
So how was the input process? Who gave input? What was important to reporters, to people who work at ProPublica in putting together this code?
So basically, it was me working with my boss, and we were just kind of discussing the scope of what we wanted to figure out first. What did we want to say was prohibited? Was it prohibited to all staff or just the reporters? Because we also, have a sizable business side of the company as well. So we came up with that. We drafted it. We sent it to first another small group of managers, and then brought in some other managers writ large, our masthead, as we call it, to give any further input. And that's kind of how we went about it.
I'm on the ProPublica website looking at the code of ethics. And as you mentioned, you wanted to differentiate between different types of gambling, and betting on sporting events like the Super Bowl or Kentucky Derby is allowed, but not news events on the prediction markets. So my question is, you could argue the Super Bowl or Kentucky Derby is news. So is it the topic or is it the avenue, meaning sports gambling, because it's different than prediction markets? They could vote in a sports gambling venue, but not on prediction markets on something like the Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of both, really, because first off, sports gambling, where it is legal, has kind of been there for a while now. If you are, say, a reporter who is covering the Kentucky Derby, I think you shouldn't be able to also wager on it, because you definitely have a lot of insider information. You're probably interviewing the jockeys or stuff like that, similar to a sporting event, especially if you have access to all the players, you're in the clubhouse, you're seeing things that a normal bettor wouldn't see. So in that case, we would say for people who are covering those kinds of sporting events, that gambling on them would be a no-go. But for the majority, I think it is kind of different than actual news coverage. And also, I felt like a code shouldn't be so restrictive that people would chafe against it or not want to follow it, because, I'm not a huge gambler, not because I'm against it, but because I'm terrible at it.
Well, most
but
people
other
are.
people might really. Yeah, most people are, but they just have a lot of confidence. I am terrible and have zero confidence in it. So I just figured we needed to make some sort of distinction there.
Diego Sorbara is the assistant managing editor at ProPublica and is with us now on KMOX. And you were talking about other outlets or media entities that have developed partnerships with Polymarket. Sports leagues have developed some. Sports leagues have developed partnerships with Polymarket. As far as journalism goes, though, do you think that at large, these companies, these media companies, should avoid any type of relationship like that with Polymarket or any of these prediction markets?
Personally, I would recommend avoiding that. I think this opens a real can of worms here, because there was a story sometime, I think last month, where this military correspondent for the Times of Israel started getting all these messages and threats based on how he worded something, because there was a Polymarket bet. I believe it was on a missile strike or something like that. And if you're a reporter and one word in your story can change a bet, you could actually stand to make a fair amount of money. And that just seems incredibly wrong to me, that people who are reporting on the news, bringing the news, and positing themselves as objective observers could also stand to profit off of their work. That strikes me as not what the goal of journalism is.
But and I think with the Times of Israel story too, wasn't it like bettors saying, hey, you used the wrong word? Like now reporters could have bettors mad at him. Like, no, that wasn't a missile. That was a this or that. Like if you use the wrong word, it could affect the money that they're making. So like you said, not only journalists can't be involved themselves, but my goodness, they might be facing more threats. I'm sure they are. We just saw it, that they're facing more threats because of these prediction markets.
Yeah, and it's not like journalism isn't already under threat as it is. To add this extra dimension is kind of maddening. But also, sometimes when you hear it phrased as you used the wrong word, there are journalists, we all make mistakes. And there could be well-meaning people saying, oh, you used the wrong word here, and actually trying to correct the record. But you could also get it from people who are simply trying to make money off of you in some way. So it just makes the already difficult job of journalism that much harder.
It's interesting because, again, going further down the code of ethics about not wagering on news events that they're covering on prediction markets, and also that no editorial personnel assigned to cover a specific industry may buy or sell securities in any company engaged in that industry. And it feels like those are not standards that are held for Congress. I mean, we have no idea, right? I mean, we know that every congressperson is killing it in the stock market. And now we know, like I mentioned the Iran strike, you would have to be in government basically to know that information. And they're not holding themselves to that standard.
Although I did see that there was, I think, a memo last month where the White House Management Office was warning against basically improperly leveraging like government positions to make bets on any kind of a prediction or futures market. So maybe they are trying to do something, but I have not heard too much about politicians and what they're doing to avoid this.
Diego, I'm just looking down the code of ethics at ProPublica. I had a question about artificial intelligence because AI is something that you've also addressed in this code, and that is becoming a more prevalent thing when it comes to reporting and media, news articles that are published. Some people use AI to edit or to alter stories one way or another. How do you see this relationship with actual journalism and artificial intelligence going? I think for Amy and I, and maybe we're a little old school in this, we kind of like the idea of not using AI to push out media stories or whatever it might be. But what do you think the future of this is going to be?
Oh gosh. Well, again, I wouldn't make a bet on the prediction markets about this, but I think that I would say that most responsible outlets are going to treat AI as a tool to make the job easier or to kind of do things that haven't been done before or that would take ages. You could like use it to sift through public records, to search for certain keywords, things like that. I think it can be used properly and to great effect in that way, but at the end of the day, there always has to be a human being checking these things. I would find it, I share your old schoolness about it, because I would hate to have anything under my name go out without me actually having checked it. So I think it's a useful tool, but there still need to be humans at the end of it. Humans who understand what the tool is doing, what its limitations are, and we're using it responsibly. I find it, let's just say I wouldn't use it to ever write a story. That seems a little too beyond the pale. Also, that's kind of what the fun of journalism is, like getting out there, doing the actual work, interacting with people. To cede that to the robots would be pretty sad.
I feel like we're about to cede a lot of things to the robots here, and that's I'm not sure it's a place I want to live. Diego Sorvara, we We appreciate you. Thank you for talking with us about this topic. Both of these topics they're very important.
No problem. Thank you for having me. And also just a quick plug to all my fellow Mizzou alum out there, Mizzou Ra.
Oh, there you go. MIZ.
CLU.
I have to do that. I don't even, I have to. Thank you, Diego.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Assistant Managing Editor at ProPublica, Diego Sorbara with us, and a Missouri Tiger joining us here on the show. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX, and we would like to invite you to the Lincoln bedroom.
What?
Oh, there's more on that when we come back.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business?
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more, so you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
All hail Spamalot, the Tony Award-winning best musical comedy that will have you laughing your coconuts off. The Washington Post declares Monty Python's Spamalot is the funniest musical on Broadway. Entertainment Weekly calls it a hilarious fun fest. The Washington Post says it's unfair to laugh this much. Get your tickets now for the musical comedy event of the year, Spamalot, playing the Fabulous Fox May 5th through 17th. Tickets at fabulousfox.com.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Come celebrate our Customer Appreciation Days, April 24th and 25th, and save up to 10 to 20% on trees, shrubs, annuals, tropicals, perennials, houseplants, and more. KMOX will be live on Saturday. Visit www.chesterfieldvalleynursery.com for more details.
You know, here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Laterman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Laterman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Laterman Law Firm at latermanlaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
100 years of service and still at your service. KMOX.
Chris and Amy on KMOX till the 11:20 Cardinals pregame show. 12:15 first pitch from Busch Stadium today. It is the rubber match of the series against the Cleveland Guardians, and you can hear it right here on KMOX and the free Odyssey app. There is a podcast, Amy. You are familiar with it. It's called The Fifth Column, and it's a politics podcast, basically. And Sarah Isgur, friend of the show. Is she a friend of the show?
Yeah, she's a friend of moi. For long-time listeners, they remember the Amy Mark Score show. Started chatting with Sarah Isgur in 2019, and then a lot of Zoom interviews during COVID 2020. She's on the Advisory Opinions podcast with David French, friend of the show, also ABC News political contributor. Also, a whole history of her political background here is that she is a Harvard Law grad. I think she teaches at Harvard Law occasionally, and she was
with the Northwestern.
Yep, was the lead on the Carly Fiorina.
Yeah, she's a
presidential
Republican
campaign.
Yeah, and she was an advisor for the president at one point.
For Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Yep. She in the Trump 1.0 for a little bit. And she actually does talk about that as things went off the rails, people who were concerned about his actions had to weigh, do I stay here and try to be a voice of reason, or do I get out? And how that was the greatest tension for people in the administration. And she did describe a really interesting interaction she had with the president at one point on that Fifth Column podcast.
I have this great moment from my time in the administration where we finished the meeting and it's me and Jeff Sessions is in there, Chris Wray is in there, John Kelly. I'm the only woman. And Donald Trump looks at me and says, "Do you want to see the Lincoln bedroom?"
Whoa. Return of the Mac.
And I think to myself, it doesn't really matter how this story turns out. Like, yeah.
Let's go.
You have never seen so many men over the age of 60 jump out of their chairs faster. John Kelly's like, I too will go.
Wow, you got blocked by John Kelly. That's amazing. Like, dude, Lincoln bedroom, stay here, buddy. Would you?
Yeah. So we all.
Yeah, you would have. Come on.
You don't know this about me. In 2016, I am on the front of the National Enquirer as one of Ted Cruz's mistresses.
Whoa.
I freak out that I'm Monica Lewinsky. My career is over. I've worked so hard.
No, but Monica Lewinsky did it.
I know, but I'm like, no one's gonna believe it.
I'm not sure I believe it, but all right.
And so again, Sarah is really funny if you're familiar with her. She just takes things in stride because I would be freaking out. But she, as we mentioned, she was in the Department of Justice as the director of the Office of Public Affairs and senior counsel to the Deputy Attorney General during Trump 1.0. And again, describing that scene, and Ron, I was just thinking, man, especially in politics, if you are a woman in that situation or in that venue, you have to constantly be assessing, how can this situation be used against me or look weird? Because like she said, she was listed on the Enquirer as Ted Cruz's mistress and thought, well, no one's going to believe me that I'm not.
Not right.
And then oddly,
other than it's the Enquirer.
That's true.
That's the only thing I think that would, because people still know that the Enquirer is a tabloid, and not a tabloid in the style of the newspaper, but a tabloid in the sense that it is just ridiculous. Pretty much everything it's always been a joke, but you don't hear much about it anymore. It's just not on the forefront of people's thoughts.
Baby was always on the front of that.
Yeah.
But for Trump to say, "Do you want to see the Lincoln bedroom?" The fact that the other guys jumped up right away, was that them just saying, "Oh, this is not going to be good"?
So that's what I was wondering.
Is that what that reaction was? Because it's not entirely clear.
Was it protective of her? That's the question that I had. Was it this doesn't look right? And so,
it was,
let me just go so I make sure that nothing weird happens here.
I kind of feel like it might have been protective of both in the sense that if they were trying to leverage their position with the president, they don't want him to be caught in yet another scandal. And also they realized it could be bad for her.
Yeah.
So they were
Or it could
just
be they're oblivious to it.
yes. But
You know?
the jumping up made me think that they didn't want that to happen. Not what that is. I don't know how what would have happened, but they just did not want the president and Sarah Isgur to go into the Lincoln bedroom by themselves.
I mean, what an invitation. And maybe, okay, I'll concede, maybe he asks everybody that.
Maybe
they were at a certain part of the White House when they were having this meeting, which is close to the Lincoln bedroom, and decided, hey, since it's right down the hall, would you like to go see it? Maybe he says that to everybody.
Should have said,
But
you want
it
to see
is-
the gold toilet.
But according to her, he looked right at her.
Yeah.
Said, you want to go see the Lincoln bedroom? Woof. Anyway,
Anyway, there you go.
fun stuff.
All
John
right.
Rooney joins us when we come back. We'll talk Cardinals baseball. They play this afternoon.
They do. Beautiful day game at Busch Stadium. Hey, speaking of beautiful, if you need a gift
thank you.
for Mother's Day, for your mom, significant other, or yourself, I highly recommend you visit theonlyfacial.com. theonlyfacial.com. I love The Only Facial. It's such a relaxing way, not just to treat yourself, but also to take good care of your skin. I'm in my 40s now. I'm paying attention, a lot of attention to my skin, wrinkles, sunspots. And I get overwhelmed with all of the products out there, all of the services out there. I don't want to have to make that decision. I just want someone to say, hey, this is what's going to be best for your skin. Let's do this service. It's $125. Includes gratuity, so no stress about that. They don't try to sell you products, so you don't have to worry about getting upsold. You go to The Only Facial. They do their services, the same steps each time, so you can really start to see progress, whether it's dermaplaning, microdermabrasion, moisturizing, a chemical peel, an enzyme peel. You know that your face is going to see improvement, not just when you walk out of The Only Facial, but also as you continue to visit each month. University City, De Pere, Clayton, Sunset Hills, Frontenac, Creve Coeur, Streets of St. Charles, and a ribbon cutting today at 4 p.m. Their new location in Edwardsville, theonlyfacial.com.
Who's been talking about St. Louis sports since 1985? Bernie Nicholas.
If someone would have came to you at the beginning of the season, beginning of the regular season, and said, hey, Jordan Walker's going to have more home runs, more RBIs, a higher OPS, higher batting average than Shohei Ohtani, what would you say?
Ben said, you're crazy.
Take it. He's having an incredible season. He really, truly is.
Bernie Nicholas. Hear what he has to say on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
73 degrees, not as warm today. Could be some thunderstorms today into tonight. Warm, breezy this evening. Could see some heavy thunderstorms with periods of rain and localized damaging winds. So be on the lookout for that. A low of 65. Weather sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you need a garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of your choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs.
They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Now, the Cardinals Conversation on KMOX. Sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we've got Missouri covered.
A swing and a high fly ball. Deep left field. There's Ivan Herrera's first home run of the season. We're tied at 1.
There you go, Ivan Herrera getting on the board. And the Cardinals last night with an extra inning comeback win. They have done that again. They've been doing it more than just about anybody in baseball this season. In fact, it has been more than anybody in baseball. Chris and Amy show on KMOX, and it is time to go to the guest line today. We do have Cardinals baseball this afternoon, 12:15. They will finish up with the Cleveland Guardians rubber match today. We have the pregame show at 11:20. We're joined by John Rooney, who will be part of all of that action. John, good to talk to you. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Chris. Is Amy there?
She's right here.
I am here.
Oh, there you are. I figured you left since I was coming on.
You know, she's always trying to leave the studio to do
No.
various things, but she's here.
Not true. I'm intimidated. I'm intimidated by the two people who know baseball so well. I don't
Well,
want
now Ricky's there too, and now you're going to be intimidated by
Jim's
that.
here.
And
I
Jim's
don't
there.
want to sound like a fool in
Claves
front
is
of
right
you.
back here.
Oh, now,
See, now I have more reason to be intimidated.
Oh, there she goes.
See, it's okay. You can sound like a fool in front of all of us. It's all right.
This is not helping, John.
Hey,
Thank you.
We were told that we have a standing invite to the broadcast booth, but you know what happened?
You have for years, but you never take me up on it, so I gave up.
Well, John, here's what happened the other night. We were all there at the game for Employee Appreciation Night, and I heard there was a contingent of people going down to the broadcast booth, and I'm watching the game. I turn around, everybody's gone. Nobody told me, so they all left without me.
Well, what does that tell you?
It tells me a lot.
I didn't even get
Yeah.
invited to the Employee Appreciation Night.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
John, again, you're not helping.
Well, we have the tarp on the field. Amy, you said it was a beautiful day for baseball. We have the tarp on the field, and it's raining.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
Well,
Maybe she means, and are you trying to say that any day is a good day for baseball?
any day's a good day
I'll
for
take
baseball.
it that way
I
because
got-
that's true.
I have to be honest. I didn't know it had started
You're
raining
not.
yet.
You have to be honest. That means you're not honest
You know what?
all the time.
Great point.
Not all the time. You know how it goes.
Wow.
So there is that.
I've learned more on this show already than I have the last 5 years.
I know I'm flustered. I'm all flustered now. But I will say I didn't know it had started raining because they told us, the weather people.
And it's weather day here.
Yeah, they said it was not.
5,000 kids out here for weather day.
Well, that's perfect.
Can't
then.
be sunny on weather
But
day.
they did tell us
Yeah,
it
they
was
blew
not gonna
something
happen
up
yet.
down there a while ago, down there on the track, demonstrating, I guess, thunder and lightning, and then it started raining.
Really?
Oh, no. Oh, it's one of those weather machines.
Oh wow.
Could be.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes. You have a question?
Well,
I'm here to
think,
help.
I think Ranj might be mad at me for bringing this up now because I think we were going to bring it up after we talked about the game. But we did speak with Tom Hamilton, broadcaster for the Cleveland Guardians.
Oh, yeah.
And he spoke.
Great guy.
He spoke so highly of you, John.
Oh, he mentioned you multiple
and
times.
he said you are a Hall of Famer.
Well, I appreciate that from Tom. Tom's a Hall of Fame human being, and I've known him since his first day with the Cleveland Indians, working with Herb Score.
Mm-hmm.
And they were terrific with a team that wasn't very good. Yet, I think about those Cleveland teams, how they were building, and they were ready when they moved into Jacobs Field, now Progressive Field. They were ready to compete and made the World Series a couple of times, and they just weren't able to win it. They were close down in Florida when Jose Mesa, or Joe Table as we used to call him, he gave it up and lost to the Miami Marlins. That was in 97?
Yeah.
And just didn't work out for them. But they built that team and kind of started from scratch with a lot of good young talent, good young pitching, and it didn't hurt that they had a Hall of Famer on the infield starting out at third base in Jim Thome. And they had Carlos Baerga. They were able to get Vizquel later. They had a lineup at one point that had an all-star at every spot, including DH. They added Travis Fryman from Detroit. He was a great addition to their team at third base. But it just seemed like they were a pitcher short in the bullpen of winning it all. They were built to win the Central Division in the American League, and they did. But to go on and win the World Series, just a little bit short. And I was kind of pulling for them.
Cleveland has had, going back to the 90s, quite a bit of success. I mean, you're talking about some teams in there that were legitimate World Series champion caliber teams that they just never were able to do it. But they've been
that's
good.
how hard it is to win at this game. It's tough enough to win one game. Like last night. Game's over if Brito fields the ground ball. Throws to first base. That's it. Game's over, and the Cardinals are on a 4-game losing streak. But he kicked it. And then a wild pitch. Then a double. Then a wild pitch to open up the bottom of the 10th and a sacrifice fly. And I got to go home and pack. So it was great.
Yeah, it is great. And the Cardinals have 7 comeback wins this season. They're perfect in extra innings so far this year. It has been, I mean, John, just to start the season, we could talk about some individuals here, but just overall, even if the pitching hasn't always been great, these have still been a lot of fun. These games have been a lot of fun to watch.
And I think it goes back to late February when we started doing those weekend games, and we saw a lot of Class A and AA talent that I'm pretty impressed by and large, because our minor leagues are off to a really good start from Class A all the way up to AAA. But this team plays hard. This team goes out there with an edge, an attitude that you get them down. I mean, after that 6-run inning on opening day, they responded with 8 and beat Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has a good offense. They've been playing some good teams, a good offense in Washington. Their pitching is suspect. That's the problem for the Nationals. But the other teams they played are expected to do well this year and contend for playoffs. The Red Sox have been disappointing, but they were able to get the line moving and put a couple of tough losses on the Cardinals. But to come back last night when they're down by 3 in the 8th inning, that's another one where a lot of teams would say, they just took the air out of the ballpark. We'll come get them tomorrow. It's a long season. We're about 10% through it. We'll come back. Not this team. They play hard and they stay with it. And they are a delight to be around. I've seen more smiles around this team going back to spring training than I think I've seen in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
To that end, John, we spoke with Daniel Descalzo earlier this week, and I asked him about the youth on this team, and he said one thing that you really notice that comes from that is the enthusiasm of youth, that these guys are excited, they're optimistic, they're hopeful, they're hungry, all of those really good things that you can see manifest, not just on the field, but in the clubhouse as well.
Well, absolutely. But youth will delight you and it will crush you. That's the other side of it. Remember, they're still learning and developing. And they're going to have clunkers like they had in the first game of this series. I thought that was probably their worst game out of the season, that it wasn't that they quit trying or anything like that. Just a lot of things didn't work with Church forgetting how many outs, and that wasn't a major play in the game. The throw by Fernandez, he just hurried the throw to third base because he knew he had an out there. He's trying to do everything he can to impress, to get back to the form that we really enjoyed a couple of years ago. And I think he can do it. We saw some bright spots when he came back out for another inning of work that he could be a big help to the bullpen. Matt Swanson working through some issues looked terrific last night. And the way that the Cardinals are using the challenge system, Ivan Herrera had a big challenge and got a strikeout instead of a walk that helped Swanson and the Cardinals. And that was very late in the game last night. I see a lot of things that are delighting me more than it's crushing anybody. I just love their attitude and the way they're going about things.
Jordan Walker had that challenge last night that he was unsuccessful on, but man, was that close. So
that tells me, and Ricky's made the point many times. He was on with Dave Glover and the crew the other day. They were talking about umpires, and they're missing calls by an inch or 2 inches. That tells me how good a job they do anyway, with or without the ABS system, that they don't miss many that are right down the middle or that are really blatant calls one way or the other. And I know a lot of umpires are irritated by this challenge system, but to me, it just kind of enhances how good they are.
I know it's only been 3 weeks, John, but talking about Jordan Walker. Did you think at this point of the season he would be the home run leader in
No way.
baseball?
No way. We're not expecting that kind of thing, Chris, because we're expecting him to implement what he worked on during the offseason, bought into the plan, stayed with the plan, and he finally cleared his mind and has taken off. We were hoping when he made the team after bypassing AAA a couple of years ago that he would have this kind of start to a career because he tore up the Texas League, and he raised everybody's hopes that this is a superstar of the future, and he can be. But right now, he's just trying to be Jordan Walker, go out there, have fun, implement what he's been working on, staying with the plan. And I see a lot of smiles on his face when I'm down the clubhouse, and that's bad news for the opponents in my mind.
Yeah, we talked to Ollie about him yesterday. Just they making sure that they stay on top of the work that's putting him where he is right now, as opposed to leaving him alone. And it was a terrific answer from him. And I love the fact that he is getting attention. You've got Harold Reynolds on MLB Tonight breaking down his swing. People are talking about him around the game.
And we're kind of flyover country here in the Midwest, and sometimes the East Coast bias bothers us here in the Midwest. It does me from time to time. And I've worked in New York. I spent a couple of years out there with CBS back in the 80s. And that's just the way it is. It's kind of the media hub, L.A. in the West, and all the attention the Dodgers get. But you can't ignore what Jordan Walker's doing. You can't ignore what this team is doing in close and extra inning games. The one-run games, they're undefeated in extra innings, and they're playing with a lot of enthusiasm and heart.
Hey, John, when you talk about the Midwest, how people view it as flyover country, you have the bias for the coasts. Did you also feel that with the White Sox in Chicago, or is Chicago an exception to that rule?
Wait a minute. I was with the White Sox, the second team in town there for all those years. So forget flyover. They just go on by on the Dan Ryan and don't pay any attention and wave a white flag when they win on the north side, which I never understood.
They were flyover country in their own city.
Well,
no, that was it. And we had a few people leave when the team didn't move to go to Florida.
Yeah.
Because they said, look, we're tired of bumping our heads against the wall. And for many of the years I was in Chicago, they had better teams than the Cubs. A few exceptions. But it just didn't seem to take traction, even though they were building a glamour team with Robin Ventura and Frank Thomas and Alex Fernandez, Jack McDowell. And they added Paul Konerko when they got him from Cincinnati for Mike Cameron. They did a lot of things very, very well, but not as many as they did well in 2005 when Ozzie Guillen went to Kenny Williams and said, look, I need this, 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 and this. Kenny went out, he got it, and nobody saw Bobby Jenks coming. And I miss Bobby. He passed on just before the reunion last year. They had the 20-year reunion of the 2005 World Series, and nobody saw him coming. That power curveball and the fastball that just exploded. He was the missing piece to putting a championship team together. And the way Ozzie used the pitching staff, the starters did most of the work in the postseason. You don't see much of that anymore either. But a lot of that was ignored in Chicago. So that was kind of drive-by on the expressways in Chicago in my 18 years with the White Sox. But I had a good time there. Had a lot of great people there, and it was just time to move on. And I've had an even better time here.
Yeah, and you see a World Series, as we've talked about before, with the Sox in 2005. You come to St. Louis, and you see another one right away. So 2 rings in 2 years.
Chris Carpenter asked me on the stage when I interviewed him after the parade, you just show up and get a ring? Well, in Minnesota, I left there, so I didn't get a ring. In the 1 year, they beat the Cardinals in 87, but it took 18 years in Chicago before they got one. I was with the Bulls fill-in. I was like the Christmas help for 30 games a year on radio, and my last year was their first championship. So I kind of feel like it was a make-good. I got a ring for that one. That was very nice of Mr. Reinsdorf and the Bulls to do that.
Wow.
I didn't know you had a Bulls ring.
That's incredible.
It really nice gold with black onyx and a gold bull's head on top, 30 diamonds around the edge. Beautiful.
I'll tell you what, John, I'll take that off your hands if you don't want it.
If the price is right.
All right.
You guys are going to negotiate off air.
Well, listen, go call us a winner today, hoping that the rain stops. And
I will. We'll get this in today.
It's a
We're
beautiful
in
day
today
for
and-
baseball, just like I said.
Oh, of course. Every day's a beautiful day for baseball. The wind is blowing out, and the next couple of series will be probably under the domes. They'll have the roof closed in both Houston and in Miami. And I forget who I was working with, but the guy comes on the air one time, and we were in the Astrodome. I was doing a game of the week. Well, from the looks of the flag in center field, the wind will not be a factor in this game.
Unless you're in the Metrodome.
Truer words were never spoken on the air on a baseball broadcast anyway.
Or as you know, in the old Metrodome, the wind was a factor when they would turn on the air conditioning
Well,
system at certain
you
times.
make it a factor.
Yeah.
It was, and I'm convinced it was. I told you the story of Ruben Sierra crushing one night that should have gone through the baggie. It looked like a Jiffy Pop place anyway. The old popcorn you put on the stove, and then the foil expands as the corn pops. That's what the Metrodome looked like to me. But I thought Sierra was going to hit one through it, and it was caught up against the baggie in right field by Tom Bernansky. And Bobby Valentine threw the fit of all-time fits. But it didn't do any good. Game was over.
That's right. That place was the worst.
I didn't go to many games there. I only worked games when they were on TV. I worked radio and TV, which was about 95, so I didn't have to do all the home games. I went down to BP, went upstairs, had a cup of coffee with the guys in the press room, and then went home and listened to games. I liked it much better that way.
Well, John, we'll be listening today. Pre-game show 11:20, first pitch at 12:15. Thank you, and let's go get a win today.
Sounds good. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, John. Bye.
John Rooney, voice of the Cardinals, with us here. Yes, the pregame show is happening very, very soon, 11:20 to be exact. We'll take you until then on 104.1 FM KMOX.
At Missouri Farm Bureau Health Plans, your health is our commitment. That's why we provide high-quality health coverage at affordable rates to Missourians like you. And unlike other options, you can apply at any time throughout the year. From individual and family plans to dental vision coverage, our plan options are designed to meet your needs. Together we care, together we grow, together we thrive. Missouri Farm Bureau Health Plans. Plan on us. Visit us at mofbhealthplans.com and contact your agent today.
The Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum is the official home of Cardinals history. For those who want to be a part of one of the sport's greatest collections in the world, museum membership is the way to go. Cardinals Museum membership provides unlimited admission for 1 year, exclusive Hall of Fame bobbleheads, discounts, ticket offers, and more, in addition to supporting exhibit design and artifact restoration. There are a variety of membership levels, including our ultimate level of membership. For more info and to join, go to cardinals.com/membership.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sportsbook at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get ready to laugh out loud, St. Louis. The outrageous Broadway hit Spam-A-Lot is riding into the fabulous Fox Theater May 5th through the 17th. From the twisted minds of Monty Python, this Tony Award-winning musical brings you killer rabbits, dancing knights, and non-stop hilarity. It's the legend of King Arthur like you've never seen it before. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events.
And Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game. Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug! Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down. Hey! Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
The smartest way to spend your money is not to. Straight Talk offers free 5G phones for new and existing customers on Verizon's 5G network. So the refund money I don't spend on that free phone is the refund money I get to keep for my family. Smart.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Story Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Story Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Here's something I run into a lot with younger homeowners and happened to be with my little boy. He was looking at purchasing homes. This house had a 20-plus-year-old furnace and air conditioner. And, of course, my advice was never buy a house with that old of an air conditioner. You will be buying a new one. And he goes, well, how much does a new one cost? For his size home, told him to figure it tens of thousands to over $20,000. If you're looking at a house, my personal opinion is make sure it's a newer unit. If not, request buyers to put in a newer unit. That makes it easier on your 15 or 30-year mortgage if it's included in the loan. Just my piece of advice for that. But if you're hearing this after the fact and you do need a new air conditioner, sorry to hear that, but call me, Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest of numbers. It is 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. God bless.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Real life Nelly had a thing with James Morrison of The Doors. Check it out.
Well, real life Nelly, I think talking about the actress who played Nelly in
Yeah.
Little House on the
the
Prairie.
one that Laura pushed down the hill in the wheelchair.
I did some research. She was just a little girl around the time. So
that was Marsha with the voicemail, by the way.
I think Marsha is referring to Charlotte Stewart, who played Miss Beadle on the show. I don't know who any of these people are, by the way.
He claims, I don't know. But I never watched this show.
Nelly would have been a kid when Jim Morrison was out and about with the Doors.
So why do you think it was Mrs. Beadle?
That's what this article says.
So I don't have any
Was she a
idea.
looker?
No, not in this old 1800s dress. She's not.
Well, it's probably a little different.
Mrs. Beadle.
For all your Little House on the Prairie needs, we've got you here. That was Marsha with a voice message.
She's pretty.
How about Bob? Bob's got a voice message for us.
I think Bob does.
Bob. Where the hell
As
is
an adult, Laura Ingalls Wilder lived in Mansfield, Missouri, and they said she was a real bitch.
What?
He says Laura Ingalls Wilder lived in Mansfield, Missouri, and they say she was a real bee.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. What the hell? So the reason we were talking about this is there is a new Little House on the Prairie show that is coming on Netflix, and it's in July.
I don't like the theme song. It's too sad. It's a downer.
The new one?
No, the old one. If you find the theme song to Little House on the Prairie, man, it's like real. Although I did learn that Laura Ingalls Wilder was a descendant of the Delano family, a.k.a. Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
How about that? So I have been to the actual Little House on the Prairie. The whole thing is based on.
Really?
So Little House is in Independence, Kansas. I have seen it. It is, you won't believe it, but it's a little house.
Is it on the?
The show
is it
was
in the
filmed in
prairie?
California. Huh?
Listen to the song.
Oh, yeah.
Sad.
I remember. I have
It's
very
mournful.
young memories of this show being on at the house. I didn't watch it, didn't like it.
If I was like super depressed and someone said, Amy, try to write a song and try to sound happy. This is how a depressed person thinks a happy song sounds.
Oh, well, This show had to have
Sounds
sucked.
kind of like MASH.
Had to have sucked. I've never seen it, but it has to have been terrible.
It's just sad.
And just in time, there is a new one coming out. I can't wait to not watch this one either. Chris and Amy on KMOX. Cardinals pregame coverage coming up soon. We'll take you till then, right here on 104.1 FM.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Ethos.
Avoid budgetary sinkholes on your next home improvement project.
So they're not over improving a property and draining other resources.
Financial planner Ed Jertson says project planning should include insurance costs, upkeep, and the tax man.
Property tax reassessments, an in-ground pool in addition to your house.
Home remodeling was projected to be a $500 billion industry in 2025. I'm Rob Hart.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. Ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Take advantage of our Mother's Day sale, which starts now. It's our best deal of the year. Save up to 60% off. Visit legacybox.com/radio and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/radio for 60% off. Legacybox.com/radio.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One question I'm always asked is how did you become the largest injury firm in the world with over 1,000 attorneys and $25 billion in verdicts and settlements? One way was our financial strength. Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. To prosecute a typical case costs up to $250,000 in case cost. We advance them all. Product liability cases can have similar costs with an army of lawyers on the other side. Automobile insurance companies have the resources to fight. Guess what? So do we. Many law firms simply may not have the financial firepower to work up your case the way you deserve. And we don't charge by the hour. No recovery, no fee. If you have a question about your case or wish to become a client, go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is 11 o'clock, and right now in downtown St. Louis, it looks like we've got rain on the way, and you can expect some storms to be with us. We'll have more details on that forecast for you coming up in just a moment. But first, our top story here on KMOX is that apparently the police chief of Ellsbury is out after less than 7 months on the job. According to the Lincoln County Watch, Chief Chris Walter resigned after a closed-door session. 2 other officers have stepped down. The police department's Facebook page has been taken down, and Billy Sutton has been named interim chief. Walter had returned to the Ellsbury Police Department as chief last September. St. Louis Public School District under pressure to solve budget woes, but the newly named superintendent tells KMOX it's too late to make dramatic changes for the fall.
Just be very honest.
Dr. Myra Michelle Berry says when people see the budget for the 2026-27 school year, they will see deficit spending.
I was just, appointed. So decisions had to be made later. And so it would be completely unfair to change and uproot everything over this next couple of, 2 months that we have remaining in the school year.
Berry says the 2027-28 school year budget will have to be much different. The Missouri State Auditor has warned the district could face insolvency within the next decade if deficits persist. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
A resumption of direct talks between the United States and Iran expected within days now with the Strait of Hormuz under U.S. control. Former Trump National Security Advisor and former UN Ambassador John Bolton talks about the conflict from an outside perspective.
It would have been useful for the president to make what I think is a very compelling case for regime change in Iran, make that case to the American people, make it to Congress, make it to our allies, none of which he did, in addition to not coordinating with and aiding the opposition.
The Department of Conservation in Missouri launching an investigation after officials say mutilated paddlefish were found in the Lake of the Ozarks.
The fish are being carved and mutilated and then released back into the lake to be caught by other anglers. And these were live fish.
That's Joe Jarrett, conservation official, who says the paddlefish were then caught by a local guide who alerted the Department of Conservation. State officials don't have much to go on.
We're asking anyone with any information on this to call Operation Game Thief at 800-392-1111.
From the KMOX business desk, small business optimism fell in March as reports of profit trends worsened. The NFIB Small Business Optimism Index fell 3 points in March, falling below the 52-year average, while the Uncertainty Index rose 4 points from February to 92. That's well above the average of 68. NFIB chief economist Bill Dunkelberg says the dramatic spike in oil and gas prices, has spooked customers and business owners alike, and positive profit trends fell 11 points. The percentage of owners who expect better conditions fell 7 points.
Plenty of clouds and breezy this afternoon. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm will cross the area, the high 79. Those thunderstorms late this afternoon, early tonight, may be severe with damaging wind gusts and hail, flooding downpours. It'll remain cloudy late tonight, though 65. Becoming partly sunny and warm tomorrow, high 85. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
The weather is sponsored by the Missouri History Museum's Route 66 Centennial Festival, April 30th through May 3rd. Right now, we do have rain in the area. It's 71 degrees downtown. Don't miss the Route 66 Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Music from Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, neon display, kids crafts, and more. Schedule at mohistory.org/festival. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
There's a swing and a high fly ball. That's hit well to left field, and it's going to carry out of here. A home run just over the wall, over Stephen Kwan's head, and just over the retired Hall of Famers. The Cardinals have an answer. They're down by 1, 5-4 with 1 out in the 8th inning as Weatherholt has his first 2-home run game of his big league career.
Let's just go ahead and assume that's going to be his first of many 2-homer games for the Cardinals.
Not bad at all.
And Jordan Walker, it's weird that it's news Jordan Walker didn't hit a home run last night. And that's kind of where we are, because he had twice now in the last week and a half, he's had 3 home run stretches. So 3 games in a row with a home run. He's done that twice. And it didn't happen last night, so he broke his streak. He was on a 3-game homer streak, and man, he's just looked so good, and I couldn't be happier for him. Yes, I know that tomorrow will mark 3 weeks the season. 3 weeks ago, the season began. So it is still very, very early, but it's hard not to, first of all, enjoy it, and second, feel encouraged by it, because the way he's playing and the results he's getting, it doesn't feel like it's hollow, especially when you look at the StatCast numbers. And I know a lot of people don't like to concern themselves with that, but all of those numbers, the things that we can measure for real with actual numbers, we know that he is for a fact hitting the ball hard. It doesn't just look like it, or that his bat speed is good. It's always been good, and he's always kind of hit the ball hard. But there are so many categories where he is in the 98th, 99th, 100th percentile of all of baseball with how he's hitting the ball, how he's barreling it up, and, angles and everything. It looks right. So all the peripheral numbers are telling you that what he's doing is for real.
When you are leading the league in home runs, does it often follow or always follow that you also lead in slugging percentage at OPS? Or do you have to also be getting
high.
singles and doubles?
Well, the slug is really it's measuring which base you're getting to, like how deep around the bases you're getting. So if you got a high slug, it means you're hitting for a power a lot. Yes. And so he's been really good. And I hope that everything that's happening here, and I know I've said this before, but I hope that it is a good foundation for him, that if he ever does start to have issues with the mental side of the game, that he's able to go, well, look what I did at the beginning of the year. It's in me. I've got it. Like, I have that ability. So I hope he's able to draw on that. And when he does struggle, because there's going to be a time this year, every baseball player does, where he struggles, I hope that he's able to look at his start here and feel confident that it's there, right? So it's just a great start. Cardinals will play today. The pregame show is 12 minutes away, and we're going to take you to that. But also last night, the Blues finished up their season at home. They've got one more game. They'll be on the road tomorrow, and they play the Mammoth, right? They got the woolly Mammoth.
They're in Utah. Yep.
So they'll finish up the season, but last night may have been Jordan Binnington's last game as a Blue.
I don't think it will be.
You don't?
I don't think it will be. And I could be wish casting for sure. I don't think it will be, but I will say from a practical standpoint, with the new collective bargaining agreement in place now with the NHL, they will increase the regular season from 82 games to 84 games. Already, teams need a strong goaltending tandem. You will never have another Grant Fuhr where you have a goaltender start 80 games in a season.
It's
just not going
madness to think about the fact that used to happen.
Glenn Hall, Glenn Hall?
Crazy.
Who started like 1,000 games
I don't know
in a
how.
row.
I don't know how you can do that.
I don't know how you did it. It was absolutely insane, and I know I'm like totally messing up the stat, but I'll find that stat. But no, with Grant Fuhr, I mean, he played an incredible number of games. Curtis Joseph would do the same thing, and you're never going to see that again. So you need a strong goaltending tandem. And Jordan Binnington, I think, really likes St. Louis. And even though Joel Hofer has established himself, Jim Montgomery, the coach of the Blues, had said about the same thing. He's establishing himself as the number one goaltender now. Jordan Binnington would be such a strong number two, because I don't even like using the word backup, because of the number of games your number two goaltender is going to start. You're going to start a lot of games. And the Blues traded Colton Ellis, one of their young goaltenders who he was down in the system, would come up a couple of times. He's in Buffalo now. And so if you trade Jordan Binnington, you have a hole there. You would have to trade for a backup goalie, for us a number two. I think if you trade Jordan Binnington, you don't have someone ready to go yet to play 30 games minimum in the NHL. Yeah. So I think they would have to make a trade. That's why I have a strong feeling that Jordan Binnington will still be a St. Louis Blue.
Okay. Well, if you say so, I'm going to go with it.
I've been wrong on everything. On Offside Hockey, Wednesday, 6 p.m., Offside Hockey with Curbs and Amy, Matrix Midwest. If you want to hear me be wrong, man, I'm wrong a lot.
Yeah. You're wrong in this room a lot.
Well, listen, but I'm honest. I disagree with myself half the time. I don't even know. Do you ever, again, I think I disagree with my job. Nobody needs to hear 3 or 4 hours of my opinion every day. I don't need to hear it. I'm not even joking. I think, man, I'm so sick of the sound of my voice. I don't even agree with myself.
Bro, you and I are together more than you realize.
For what it's worth, I'm sick of you too.
Oh, oops.
Hey, real quick baseball question. Did I hear it right that Michael McGreevy faced 7 left-handed hitters yesterday? 7 lefties?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know. Maybe. Why?
That's
What's the
unusual,
question?
isn't it? 7 lefties in a lineup?
Well, in a starting lineup, yeah, it's unusual.
That's
I don't think that's what
the
happened,
end of
though.
my question.
Okay.
I thought he did.
Well, maybe you did.
You know what else? I just need to stop speculating.
Yeah, just what the hell are you talking about?
I thought
you
you
were
would know
speculating
this.
about Little House
Matt,
on the Prairie
tell me I'm
earlier.
right.
Can we please go back to Robin Hood and Laura Ingalls Wilder, please?
Please get our research team on whether or not Michael McGreevy faced 7 lefties yesterday. I believe he did because it is unusual. And the thing is, I'm asking these questions because I am now financially invested in the St. Louis Cardinals. $20 a month.
Okay. So,
I think is that.
so
are we
then that's the
part
question
owner?
you came up with?
Are we part owner now, Matt? Because you are also invested.
Yes, we are.
I think that's part of the thing is that I am.
We're
part
like Green
owner.
Bay Packers fans.
I'm a minority owner of the St. Louis
I
Cardinals.
really don't know if that's how that works.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay. All right.
I don't think they would ask $20 a month unless you were part owner.
No, I think they're just. So then that's like saying if you buy a ticket for the game, you're part owner.
That's
owner.
totally
That's not
different.
true.
That's different.
How is that different?
It's completely different.
How?
The fact that you don't understand, it's not my responsibility to explain it to you.
Why do we talk? We didn't even get to talk about the Diana Rossini thing. And there's not enough time to do it now. But for people who have been following along, partly, kind of, maybe, we mentioned the story earlier in the week. She's the NFL reporter who is allegedly, possibly, kind of looks like having a relationship with the head coach of the Patriots. Well, she resigned from the Athletic. She was a pretty well-known national NFL reporter. And because of everything that's been going on and the looks of those photos of her canoodling with Mike Vrabel, it did not look good.
You can't
and
canoodle with your source.
Right.
You can't. I think that's probably the number one rule of Source Club is no canoodling.
Yeah, so you just can't do that. And there has been this conversation that has happened in about the last week, and you have, and I'm thinking of the women who are in sports right now, and it seems like a good percentage of them are saying, well, of course, here you go, here's a double standard. He'll face no consequences whatsoever, and she's going to face all of them and maybe lose her career. And then the others who say, hey, I'm a reporter. She's done nothing but make my job more difficult because now she's given people ammunition to say, oh, you got that scoop? How'd you get that scoop? What'd you do to get it? Did you have a relationship with a coach or a player? So this has been a really interesting, I think, litmus test or a Rorschach test, probably.
Yeah.
It'll be, but we could talk about this a little bit more tomorrow. And I think since we have time to do it, we will. We'll be back at 9 a.m. So please be with us. And if there's anything that happened on the show today that you missed and you'd like to go back and get it, some pretty good interviews. You can listen to those individually. You can listen to the full show, whatever you want. It's all on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. This is the Chris and Amy Show. Cardinals pregame is next on KMOX. And now we bring you the Lang Insurance Keys to the Game.